Who's ready for our guests? Oh my gosh, we have almost 50 people in the audience. Wow. Well, I won't hold you up any longer. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Terry Sullivan,
Hello,
founder
everybody.
of BuzzPro, LinkedIn trainer, social selling strategist. Welcome, Terry. I need like a laugh, like a clapping track.
Here, I'll clap. Oh, it's an honor to be here, Fanny. This is so much fun.
Oh my gosh, you are like blowing up this show. That's the power you have,
Thank you.
Terry.
I loved your tips. I thought that was fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
The kinesia. I mean, I'm trying to figure out which one or combination I prefer because
Yeah.
when I learn, I have to pay. So I'm kind of a little bit of all of those. I want to see it. I
And
want to
when
hear
I
it.
talk, I use my hands a lot. So I'm like,
Oh,
is it?
oh my
Hopefully
gosh.
that's getting to all you kinesthetic people.
Oh my
But
gosh.
look at all this. Look at all the people we have tuning in, Terry.
Oh, thank you.
It's amazing. And
Well,
just a little background for people. I actually met Terry, gosh, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, right, Terry?
yes, ma'am.
I was volunteering at the Grapevine Job Fair and helping them with organization of it. And you were one of the speakers. So I sat in the audience and you just blew me away with your LinkedIn presentation.
Oh,
And
thank
I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this is so much more than just a job search platform. There's so much more that can be done with it. And I was totally underutilizing it. So I always tell people, you are my catalyst to getting on LinkedIn. And now I'm like crazy
Fanny.
about it.
Well, you've taken what I taught you to a whole nother level. Your LinkedIn Live sessions are just tremendous. You've got this down. I give since COVID hit, I give 1 to 2 presentations a day.
Yeah.
About 10 to 15 a week around the country. But I want you to know this is really special to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, tell our audience, for those people that don't know you, give them a little background about you.
Sure. So my name is Terry Sullivan, and back in 2010, I was laid off from a little company called Verizon, along with 27,000 other people, and I made a big decision. I initially started, I'm a marketing guy, and I started helping as many people as I could to find jobs. And so I would help, 1 to 2 people a day. It was really horrible during the recession there. But a funny thing started happening is they all started landing jobs. And so next thing you know, they were calling me up, asking me if I could train their sales and marketing leadership teams. And so I started making some pretty good money. And then I just kind of said, I'm not going back into corporate. I've done this. I like it. I like helping people. I like traveling. And so I formed a company called BuzzPro, where your buzz is my biz. And I do a considerable amount of presenting. Last year, I presented 132 times around the country. Now with COVID, it's going to be a lot higher than that because I can just come upstairs to my office here and start presenting away. And so really what I do is, I do a lot of pro bono. I help as many people as I can because I know just how frightening looking for a job can be. Been there, done that. And at the same time, though, I work with companies, and I'm very honored. Just to let you know, I'm currently working. If any of you guys have ever eaten at a little restaurant called, you ever eaten at Chili's? Penny, ever eaten at Chili's?
Yes.
Well, yes. So I'm
their
working.
Commercials always make me like crave them.
Oh yeah. Well,
drop a note if you eat at Chili's.
Yeah, right. I'm very honored. I'm working with Larry Levine, and he's the founder of Chili's, and so I've had the opportunity to work with some amazing people, just tremendous. I could just go on and on.
Yeah.
I'm working. I've got 3 clients up in Manhattan right now, and it's so interesting to talk to them about how COVID has affected their lives, I just Larry. Just on a side note, Larry Levine. I said, "How'd you come up with that name, Chili's?" And he said, "Well, Terry, I like those chili cook-offs you have." And he said, I would create a hamburger and no one would ever talk about it. But what I found out is that If someone had a good bowl of chili, they would talk about it to everybody all the time for hours. And so I wanted to call my place Chili so everybody would talk about my food. And
There you
so
go.
he sold it 9 years later to a big
Wow.
conglomerate. And I think he said they have around 700 chilies around the world now. So just
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
all it
So that's,
takes
yeah.
sometimes.
So that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I help companies primarily. That's how I make a living now. And I do work with individuals as well.
Mm-hmm.
And but I give a lot of free presentations because I just love helping people, and I
Yeah.
love
Well,
it when I
look,
can.
Sally's like, this is the 8th time for me to see Terry's presentation.
Sally, I told Sally in a post
She
today.
learns something new every time.
Sally's amazing, and
She
boy,
is.
she was on one of my presentations, and I started talking about video, and she said, I mean, before I just said the word video, and she yelled out, "Fanny!" She's a big fan of yours as well. She's just
Oh,
I think
she's
she's just,
amazing.
Sally's a great lady. I met her
Yes.
many years ago.
Connect with Sally Binnix if you
Yeah,
don't know her.
she's
Yes.
amazing. And she's actually helped me get some presentation gigs in technology companies and groups and that kind of thing. And so I'd like to say, hey, thumbs up, Sally. Thank you. Thank you for being such a great friend.
Yeah.
But that's what I do. And
Thank you.
I have several regular clients, like I work with 4 recruitment agencies. And
Mm-hmm.
so if anyone's looking for a job, you want an interview, reach out to me because I can
Yeah.
introduce you to some great, it's like if you're in high profile, if you're in admin or HR, oh my
Mm-hmm.
goodness, high profile, go to their site, High Profile Inc. They've been around for 32
Yeah.
years. And
There's
it,
Sarah Strove, or I
uh,
forgot her last name, but yeah,
uh,
she's with High Profile. Great
oh my
person.
gosh,
Yes.
yeah, they're great. And so I
Yeah.
trained their company.
Mm.
And so, and then of course I work with Babbage and Associates, which
Mm.
is Tony Bashira's team. And I'm on his national syndicated radio show 4 times a month, and that's pretty cool. And
Wow.
then I, just have a lot of repeat clients too. But I initially, Fanny, I lost a lot of business with COVID, and it
Yeah.
was kind of frightening. So for about a week and a
A
half, I'm
lot
like,
of people took a hit.
uh-oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it just hit. And then after about a week and a half, I started, hey, can you sit in on this Zoom call?
Yeah.
And so I just loaded it up. And so I'm on them all the time. And then funny things started happening. I'm presenting to all, companies all over the country. I presented to one out in LA this morning. And then next thing you know, hey, can you do my profile, or can you show me how to use
Yeah.
social selling and that kind of thing? So I'm very, 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 very honored to be able to have my own company. And
It is.
Fanny, I'm really honored
There's a
to
great
have you.
freedom to it. Yes.
There really is, and I get to meet great people like you, Fanny.
Yeah.
That's the
Thank
best part about
you.
my job. Yes, ma'am.
Well, let's get straight into it. I mean,
Yeah.
for those that are just starting out, like, what is a LinkedIn brand, and how does it work? Let's get to the basics of it.
Okay, so a brand, and I'm going to go to my LinkedIn profile. So let me know if you can see it. Can you see it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let me just tell you, a brand, and it's really, and if you're on this call, please take notes because this is super important.
Yeah.
Your brand
Grab your pens and paper.
Get ready, right, Fanny? Your brand is who you are, what you do, and how you can help. And like for example, this is my branding headline. I use, here I am. My name's Terry Sullivan, right?
Yes.
And then I'm the founder of BuzzPro. I use very little real estate for my title, right? Because probably half of you on this call or more have a title and a company name. I'm VP of marketing with XYZ company. And no offense, but who really cares, right?
Yeah.
How can you help me? So what you want to do is tell people who you are, what you do, and more importantly, how can you help? And so what I like to do is to start off with the branding process is to, first of all, have a glass of wine, right?
Yes.
And write down as many words as I can think of, Fanny, about, what I think my brand is all about. And then I kind of rate those terms. That's what I do with my clients.
Yeah.
And when I come up with my top 15, I put them in order of importance to my brand. And for my top 3 to 5, that's where I really do some soul searching to decide, do I want to use a common term, searchable SEO term in my branding headline, or do I want more of a conversational kind of brand? It just really depends on what your preference is. What kind of communicator you are, what kind of how you want to be known, et cetera. But I use the combination of both. So these are my top key searchable terms: digital sales and marketing leader, social selling strategist, LinkedIn trainer, and then a little phrase here, buzz my biz, which is my tagline.
Yeah.
So the point,
it's
so
catchy.
a brand. Yeah, thank you, Fanny. So your brand is all about who you are, what you do, and how you can help. And please stay away from this is a branding headline, I call it, right?
Mhm.
And I'll just tell you something you'll find very interesting. I think it was last Tuesday or the Tuesday before that. You used to be limited to 120 characters with your branding headline. I don't know that everyone on this call, you have this perfect idea, but then
Yeah.
you could have a real short phrase. Well, I always had a workaround. If you had an iPhone, right, you could put as many characters in there as you want if you change the branding headline on your iPhone. But as of last Tuesday, you'll be happy to know, Fanny, LinkedIn changed that. And now you can have, I think it's up to 260 characters. So now
There
you're
you
going to
go.
start, now you're going to start seeing,
260 characters.
yeah, and
Okay.
now you'll start seeing branding headlines from everybody that are much longer, because a lot of people didn't know about the little iPhone workaround. So now it's available to a longer branding headline is a possibility with everybody now.
Awesome. And it really gives some extra space for people to tell people what they do.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Mhm.
it's a trade-off, right? So like if
Yeah.
I'm working with the CEO of a very, very amazing company called, Blue Water,
Mhm.
the CEO, and he originally came up with a branding headline that was, oh my gosh, it was like 6 lines long. I'm like, well, this says it, it tells me who you are, what you do, and how you can help, and he's a great guy, Chris Bond, I just love him. But I said, we got to get this a little shorter so people are going to read it, because you have to remember that people don't read the internet, right? They don't read
Yeah.
it, they skim it. So
Yep.
branding is always a trade-off between search engine optimization and brand. And what I mean by that is, you don't want to. The first person who ever taught me how to use LinkedIn he was a Harvard graduate and just an amazing, brilliant guy. And he had systems to be found for any term. But the problem is, you could type in plumber and you could find him. But once you got to his profile, I didn't know what the heck he did for a living, right? There's
Yeah.
nothing but keywords. So the whole idea is that you want to come up with a branding headline that's just that right length that tells your story, and
Yeah.
without being too long, and decide whether you want more of a conversational branding headline or more of a key term headline, or like I did, I use both because I want to be found for those terms, but at
Exactly.
the same time I want to tell my story.
And I think also depends, at least from my perspective as a recruiter, when I have my recruiter hat on, I'm searching for specific titles, right? If I want SAP consultant or
Yeah.
manufacturing lead, that's what I'm typing in. So it really helps when those words are exactly what they
Oh
want to
yeah.
be hired for, and that's
Yeah.
in their headline.
Yeah.
But then at the other end of the spectrum, if I'm searching for someone offering a certain service, so I'm looking for like an entrepreneur or an owner or something, then I want to know like exactly how they can help me, like graphic designer or
Yeah.
content writer or whatever. And then I'm like, oh, well, I help entrepreneurs with whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, really think about your target audience, right?
Yeah. So Fanny, you're an expert recruiter as well. May I show you something?
Yes, please.
Okay, so if you click on the Me tab here, and you go down to Settings and Privacy, and then you go to right down here, and it says Let Recruiters Know You're Open to New Opportunities. This is a brand new feature that was launched by Microsoft on June 22nd. And if you turn this Let Recruiters Know You're Open to New Opportunities,
Oh, we
let
can't see it. Oh, the
uh,
drop down. Yeah. I think you have
uh-huh.
to click on it so that we can.
Oh,
Sometimes
because
drop downs don't show up on these
oh,
StreamYards.
oh,
Yeah.
okay, hold on a second. Um, so anyways, that's too bad. But anyways, I'll turn
Yeah.
this on. Is it because I'm on a different page, maybe? Uh,
Yeah. It will have
di-
to be the same page. Mhm.
can you see that? Can you see
Yes.
my page
Now I
now?
can see you're scrolling. Yes.
Okay. And now can you see the
There we
privacy?
go.
Okay, I've
Perfect.
just probably clicked on. I have two
Mhm.
LinkedIn profile pages open. If that happens again, let me know. And if I go into settings and privacy, now can you see it, the settings and privacy page? No?
No. Oh,
Oh,
that's
that's okay.
funny.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
It didn't pull it
Anyways,
up. Yeah.
that's okay. I turned it on. So
Yeah.
but at any rate, let me just see here. Just a second here. So if I refresh my LinkedIn page, will it go? Will you lose it? Can I refresh it?
Yes. Try that.
Sure, let me try to refresh this. Okay.
This is the beauty of live.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Everyone you get to see behind the scenes.
Okay, so let's see. So now I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to just a second. view profile. Okay, now can you see my page now or no?
No, we're
Okay.
still on the main one where you highlighted your
And it's
profile.
scrolling up and
Yeah.
down. Okay,
Yeah.
well, let's see here. Let me refresh this page. I'm going to refresh. Hopefully I won't lose you.
No, all good.
Is it refreshing? Okay,
Yes.
good. So now
Yes.
I turned on that
There you
feature
go.
that you couldn't
Yeah.
see called
I
Let
see it now.
Recruiters Know, right? And so this little jewel popped up, right? And it's
yes.
called Open to New Work, right? And it's a new hashtag, and it's called a photo frame. And I would really like to get your opinion on this. It started June 22nd, and it lets recruiters know that you're open to you're open to having getting a new job. And it's really kind of cool because you can add the job titles you're looking for and location.
Nice.
Pretty cool. But this is the little feature right here where right now it's turned on to let recruiters know. But if I click this, anyone who sees my profile now will
Look at
now
that,
see,
folks.
and we'll now see this little photo frame called Open to Work, right?
Yes.
And so what I would start doing, and I know you're going to talk a lot about content here throughout, but as you're posting and liking, commenting, sharing things, just you might want to start using this hashtag Open to Work because recruiters are starting to use it. I'm just curious, before I tell you the results of my survey I took with 26 recruiters, is this an important thing, you think, for a job seeker?
It helps.
Yeah.
It certainly lets me know that if I reach out to you, you're more probably willing to reply to my in-mail.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my market is in SAP consulting, so it's very, very niche.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I don't know if they're available or not, and I'm still reaching out because sometimes it's very hard to find specific candidates. But yeah, it certainly helps because then I just feel like they would be more open to speaking with me.
Well, that's very, very cool. So I surveyed 26 recruiters.
Yeah.
And 25 of them said the same thing you just said. It helps. So
there you go. Every job seeker is in the audience.
Yep. If you're looking for a job. Yeah. I mean, if you can help the recruiters, do that. And they love it. There was one that said, it's a little flashy for me. It takes up too much of my photo. I don't think I like it, but the others loved it.
Yeah.
And the other thing, while you're at it, if you're looking for a job, make sure you use the hashtag ONO, because you in LinkedIn you can do a search for there's now 7 things which they added events, but you can do a content search for this hashtag or the hashtag ONO, which I'm sure you're familiar with, but hashtag ONO, you want to put that everywhere. Like, so if you're posting, put it at the very end of everything, and it will make you searchable as well. My recruiters, can you see this page refreshing?
Yes.
Okay, so I did a search for ONO, and I could look for content. And so then if you put a hashtag in there, like for example, this is an engineer, right?
Yeah.
And you click on see more, and he put in hashtag ONO somewhere down here. I can't see it. It's in here somewhere. But that just says right here. But that says, hey, he's looking for a job, and here's his post. So just the whole point is that
it helps with the search.
Yeah.
You're getting more visibility.
Yeah, how do you stand out from the crowds? I mean, with the unemployment rate being anywhere from 15 to 25%, depending on what state you're talking about, there's a lot of competition for jobs. So you got to provide, and you're going to talk about that, but you have to provide valuable content.
That's one of the questions we got from Mike in the audience. What does it take to get your profile to be at the top of the search list?
Oh boy. Okay, so let me just go back.
Thank you for your question, Mike.
Yeah, Mike. Go, Mike. Man, that's awesome. So can you see my landing page here loading? Okay. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you have the right keywords, right? So you want to stay away from words like leadership and management. They have no strategic branding value whatsoever. I see it all the time, right? Leadership. Woo, you got me excited, Fanny.
It's too broad.
And then make sure you max out your skill section down here with 50 terms. It's an absolute must, right? And let me just show you this real quick.
Yes,
so this is my skill section. There's 3 things that I would like to suggest you do. Number 1 is max out the skill section with 50 strategic branding terms. And the way I would find it, I'm not going to lie to you. I look up the competition, right? So if you're looking for an IT, let me see, engineering, Internet of Things engineering job, look up the number one, figure out what the number one searchable term is for, Internet of Things.
Yeah.
So it's probably IoT. And then look at the top 5 to 10 people who show up in your results. They're using the right words, right?
Yeah.
So you can steal or copy terms, you just can't copy sentences. That's plagiarism. So the point is, Fanny, is to answer your question, max out your skills section here.
There you go, Mike.
With 50 terms, number one.
Absolutely.
Number two, you want to pin those top 3 terms to the very top that you want to be known for. Pin them to the top. And the way you do that is you click on this little, can you see that, Fanny?
Yes.
Okay, so you click on the little minus sign there, and these are pins, and you can pin 3 to the top. So if I wanted to move B2B marketing to the top, you have to unpin that top skill and then pin branding, and then you can grab this little hamburger looking thing. You can tell I'm hungry, and then move this to the top, and then click on save. So the first thing you want to do is, are you sure you want to discard this? Yes, I do. So the first thing you want to do is move your top branding terms to the top. Why is that important? Well, brand development is my thing. And so if you click on it, you can see that I have over 1,000. What happens here, what I've learned, is amazing. That once you get to 1,250, it stops.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I've got thousands. Yeah.
Only Terry would max it out.
That
shows how amazing you are.
And when you get to 100, it turns into a 99 plus. So the whole point is, you don't need 99 plus. You don't need 100. You don't need 1250. But what you do need is more than 0, right? Especially in your top 3 skills. So step 1 is max out this section with 50 key searchable terms. Step 2 is pin your top 3 terms to the top. And step 3 is within each one of these sections, Fanny, what you want to do is alphabetize them. And I will tell you, as of June, I think it was 15th, I really thanked heaven for this, because LinkedIn changed this algorithm and the way this process worked to where it automatically puts it in alphabetical order. So it just saves me so much time. But if you want to move something around, you can very easily by clicking and dragging.
The hamburger.
Yeah, the hamburger. I just call it a hamburger. It looks like a hamburger.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah.
And then lastly, if you're, like, for example, looking for a job, you want to make sure that it's really, really important that you get, have your top key terms in here. Super important, so you can be found, okay?
Yes.
The other place you want to put keywords is in your branding headline. As I mentioned earlier, that's why I put them here. And then sometimes with my clients, to even really grease the skids, what you'll see that I will put what I call, and it's not even a real word, but I will create a marketing anchor. And I will create my top 15 to 20 terms and put them at the very end of my summary section, separated by vertical delimiters, which are these little guys, right? It's that little key.
Vertical line.
Vertical line. So so step 1, to answer your questions, you have to have the right keywords in your profile. Step 2 is you have to provide great content. And Fanny, you're the expert at that, but what I tell my audience is, and I know you can go much deeper than I can, but you got to get on LinkedIn and use this thing at 15 to 30, no more than 30 minutes a day. But during that time, you want to like, comment, and share, and just get in the habit of 1 to 3 posts per day, right? And you definitely want to use hashtags, right? And you can talk a lot more about that than me, but I really suggest that you use a branding headline. For example, use your name, hashtag Terry Sullivan. Or if you have if you're not looking for work and you have a company, hashtag your company name, BuzzPro. And then, so start using, get in the habit of using LinkedIn every day. You're rewarded for using LinkedIn on a regular basis. And, if you have to have the right keywords in your profile, but at the same time, you have to use the application and you have to give to your community. And that's pretty much what you have to do. Have the right keywords, and you don't use LinkedIn every day, and like, comment, share in 1 to 3 posts per day. Make it happen.
Absolutely. Thank you, Terry. It's always so, even just here, I always learn something new. Awesome.
Thank you.
Now, another thing you do is something called social selling, right?
Yeah.
And tell us what that is and how is that different? Like I
Sure.
see it interchangeably mixed with social media. And so a lot of people get confused between the two. What do you think?
Okay. Well, I think you have some slides, correct?
Yes. Let me
Okay.
share that.
All right. You're doing a great job, Fanny, with the editing here. I'm
I'm the producer here.
oh my gosh. I mean,
I'm self-appointing.
oh, I mean, I'm going to see you on the Tonight Show or something, there's something.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So really, there's a strategic difference between social media and social selling, right? And so social media to me is kind of like, it's kind of like a party. To throw on a party, you have to invite the right people. You have to have have some great food, maybe a great band. And the whole idea, excuse me, is to create a really good time. So people keep coming back and it's memorable and they want to be part of it, Whereas social selling is strategically different. Social selling is quite a bit more like, excuse me, let me take a quick drink here.
Yeah. And then while we have that, like you're buzzing up. Chuck said #BuzzPo, #Terry Sullivan.
Yeah, man, you got to use those hashtags. But the social selling is kind of like, it's much different than a party, right? It's like going deep sea fishing where, you want to, if you go deep sea fishing, you want to have the right boat, the right gear, and the ultimate goal is to land that fish. So social selling, and if you're taking notes, excuse me, write this down. Social selling is all about finding, connecting, and developing relationships with your key contacts and prospects. It's more deliberate. But let me give you a caveat here, Miss Fanny.
Yeah.
I call it social selling, but you never, ever, ever, ever sell on LinkedIn, right?
Agreed.
So, yeah, I give half a dozen presentations to real estate companies, a month. It's always so funny because when I give a presentation, as soon as I get off the presentation, I'll have 20 to 25 listings of properties in my news feed, right? and I'm not moving. My house is paid for. I'm happy here in Flower Mound, And so what do? I unfollow them, right?
Yeah.
So people don't care about what you want or about what you're selling until they figure out about how much you care. Yes. So you really,
Let's say that selling. Again. People don't care about what you want until you show them you care. That's so important. So right? Important.
Yeah. And I mean, of my over 100, it'll be over 130 presentations this year, probably 2/3 of them are all free. Just because I give. That's the way it's different, and I work with a lot of consultants and they just don't get that concept. They want to charge for everything. I said, you don't understand. They can get anything I can teach someone they can find on the internet. You got to give it away. So the point is that social selling is all about finding, connecting, and developing relationships with your key contacts and prospects. It's more strategic approach. And when you find people, you immediately want to start giving to your community. But go to the next slide. Let me show you what that means here, please, Fanny. Okay, this is my 25, 15, and 10 social selling strategy, right? And so what I'm going to say, there was a question about brand and how do you be found. Don't wait for my recruiters to find you, right? They're too busy. They have 20 plus recs on their desk. They're just crazy busy right now. And so you want to find them. And so the whole idea is you want to find, connect, and develop relationships with your key contacts and prospects. So whether you have a business and you're looking for prospects that you can turn into clients, or you're looking for recruiters or hiring managers, implement this strategy. And so what it is, use LinkedIn on a regular daily basis, right? So use it every day for 15 to 30 minutes. The problem with most LinkedIn users, they jump on it for 4 hours for about 2 or 3 days, and then they don't go back to it for weeks. Don't do that. You won't be found, right?
Yeah. Consistency, folks. Consistency.
Well, isn't that the same thing for you with posting, Fanny? What's your thoughts about that?
Same. Exactly the same. I couldn't agree with you more. You just have to be consistent with it.
Yeah, I mean, in your world, you told me your strategy the other day. I thought it was, wow, it's every day you do something different, right?
Yes.
Is that something you can share?
Well, no, it's just like those, the types of learning styles, right? One day you do something visual, one day you can do something auditory, and switch it up but it can all be the same message and same theme. But yeah, to go back to your requests, exactly, you have to be consistent, or else people will just think that you're just there for a random time, and they look for you again and you're not there.
Yeah. So Fanny, let me ask you something. Do you remember, like, what type of post performed the best for you? Was it, which of those types of learning, what type was it? Do you know?
Definitely visual. I think the majority of people do learn visually, and for a long time, videos did well, and they still do well. But I am seeing an increase in viewership for the PDF decks, the scrolling carousel decks.
Oh,
And so that's a very effective tool to, because people can glance at it really quick, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
even for your clients that are corporate professionals or job seekers, right? A quick 5-page, very high-level slide deck, convert it to PDF. People can just click through really quickly, and that's a great way for people to just kind of skim content, because nobody has patience anymore, right?
Wow,
Everyone's skimming. Yeah.
Wow, I
Yeah.
love that idea, and I'm going to tell you, you've really motivated me. If you could go to the next slide, and I'm going to show you where
Absolutely.
you've motivated me, because
Yeah,
this
because even
this is my 25, 15, and 10 social selling strategy. If you could go back, so what that says is you want to send out, if you go to the previous slide, if you can,
yep,
5 connection requests a day, right? And you
yep,
might think, oh my gosh, that's a lot of work. It'll take you less than 2 minutes if you use templates. And
yep,
quite honestly, I'm going to do this for your group only, but if
yeah.
anybody would like to have a copy of my templates, just let me know, connect with me, and I'll send you my pre-written templates.
This is why you're so awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
man. But just let me know if you want the job seeking templates or the business templates or both. I'll be happy to send those to you. But
Tell Terry where you heard it from. The
yeah,
show.
that's right, Penny. So at any rate, you send out 5 connection requests a day,
Yes.
right? And we're using templates, pre-written templates, but you have to personalize them. And then that's 25 a week. Of those 25 that you send out, only 15, or about 3 a day, are going to actually connect with you, just, for whatever
Right.
reason.
Yep.
But the ultimate goal is you want to take your online discussion offline. Nothing happens until you have a conversation with someone.
Yes.
Next slide, please. And if you do that, you will, in a month's time, connected with 60 new key prospects, whether you're looking for clients or a job.
Amazing.
And we'll have had 40, I'm going to call them a sales conversation. We're all salespeople, whether you're trying to sell your products or services or yourself, right?
Right.
But nothing happens
Job
until you have,
seekers, you're in sales. Yes.
exactly,
You're selling
exactly.
yourself. Yes.
So go to the next slide, please.
Yes.
And so how do you find people to connect with? You use Boolean operators, and I'm going to try to let me see. I'm going to try to do this real quick. Can you see my screen by chance?
Yeah. Let me switch over. There you go.
Okay. So if I were looking for a recruiter, right? And that's a Boolean operator. Notice how that and, can you see it, Fanny?
Yes.
Okay. It's all uppercase, right? And technology, let's just say. Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's a Boolean search, right? And then I could come back over here and I could say, not in quotation marks, oil and gas, right? I don't want to talk to an oil and gas kind of person, right? So the way these Boolean operators work is, it helps you modify your search results. And so it's and, or, not in open and close quotation marks. And there's a lot of information on it, and on the internet. And and again, I've got information on it. If you want it, just tell me, but you have to say, I want Boolean search big details. I'll be glad to send that to you.
Yeah.
But the point is that you want to use Boolean searches to refine your search. And if I click on search, you'll see that in the results, these are all technology recruiters, right? And then you can further, reduce the results by just want, Dallas, Fort Worth, and
and
how
it
many
just
am I?
slowly narrows the search, right?
Yeah. And how many am I connected with right now? So if there's anybody out there, hint, hint, that would like me to introduce you to a recruiter in the technology space in Dallas, well, I've got 350. I'd be glad to introduce you to.
There you go.
Right.
Yep.
So back to if we could go back to the PowerPoint, Fanny.
Yes.
So the point is that you want to use Boolean searches to refine your search. There's a lot of information on the internet about that. But at the same time, I can send you some information that just, I like things simple. I've got a simple summary of it. But the next page, please. So that's step one.
And
right?
just really quick note, like even as from the recruiter point of view, we're doing the same to job seekers. I'm typing in like SAP, which is the software, and then I'm putting manufacturing and oil and gas, whatever kind of aerospace and defense industry. So it works both ways, from the recruiter side as well as the job seeker side, and even for the entrepreneurs out there, if you're looking for specific clients in a certain industry with a certain title. There you go.
That's very, very cool. Yeah. And then, and then the next page, please. That would be great. All right, thank you. So I'm going to show you two sets of templates here. And again, if you'd like a copy of these, I've spent hours on them. They work really well. Just let me know, and just keep them for yourself. Don't share them with the world. They're yours. But so here's the thing. You want to, step one was you want to find your prospects, just like you said, Fanny. Use Boolean searches to find people. But then what you want to do is send them a personalized templated connection request. And what I mean by that is this part is pre-written, right? And you just
in black,
and then you just put your name and phone number in here. But then you always, have you ever gotten, Fanny, a connection request from someone that they said, hey, Fanny, I took a look at your profile. It looks really interesting. Let's connect. Have you ever gotten one like that?
Yes.
And you probably, you don't.
It's so generic.
Yeah, no. It's like, darn well they didn't look at your profile, right? So what you want to do is personalization rules in the world of digital media, right? Everybody is just generalized out, right? So the more you can so if I found your profile and I could say, hey, Fanny, and this is Terry, I would love to connect with you. I see that Foster Williams.
Yeah.
I see you're an amazing video producer and content provider and instructor. I would, and then paste the rest. I'm in the process of, expanding. Right. So always personalize everything, all your communications.
Yeah. If you remember nothing else, please personalize. Like nothing irritates me more than those connection requests that are generic, and they didn't look. So if you want to stand out, that's another tip. Just like Terry says, please personalize your connection requests.
Yeah, that's it. That's very good. And if you could please go to that step 2.
Yeah. And then, real quick, Terry, we just had a question here from Mike Rochelle.
Oh, Mike.
Have you found any differential with Sales Navigator in doing these things?
Yeah. So, and at the very end, I'll talk about the different premium versions of LinkedIn. I think I have a slide in here. But Mike, I love Sales Nav, and I hate it. Right. and I don't work for Microsoft, so I can say I don't like it, but I do. I really, really do like it. Sales Navigator, it takes the whole search process to another level in terms of finding people, and you can tag your prospects, and you can tag individuals or tag companies, and then they show up in your newsfeed. So instead of just having all your first level connects, comments and posts and what have you in your newsfeed, with Sales Navigator, you can set it up to where it's just showing those people that are red hot prospects for you. So it's tremendous. The downside about Sales Navigator is it's, the databases don't really seem to be lined up, right? So when you go to when I go to Sales Navigator, it actually shows a different number of first level connects. I've got just over 18,000 on my regular LinkedIn and like 17,500. And I'm like, what's the difference there? So that bothers me. And the other thing that really, really bothers me is when I create a message in LinkedIn to, like, let's say Fanny, and I go to Sales Navigator and look up you, Fanny, that message is not there, and vice versa. So the
translation between the two sides
they don't really talk to each other. So if you communicate with someone in Sales Nav, the communication stays there, and vice versa. And then the last thing I don't really like about it is the price. It's about $840 a year. And so if you're going to use Sales Navigator, it's fantastic for prospecting. But I do all of and I train people on Sales Nav, but I do all of my prospecting, communicating in the regular version of LinkedIn. I'm just more comfortable there. So it's kind of a pain to go back and forth. I mean, I truly, truly believe that the business version of LinkedIn is the very best. It's cheaper. It has some more bells and whistles, and it's got unlimited search capability. And that's what you need when you're going to implement a social selling strategy.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So
then
then,
should we go to step 3?
yep. Step 2 is you send a connection request, and then
Yes.
step 3. And I used to have just 4 total steps, but I added this. And this is, you want to start building that rapport, right? So many, please, from this day forward, if there's one bit of advice I could give them, it would be when you accept a connection request, don't just hit the accept button and wait for something to happen, especially if it's a prospect. What you want to do is, send a thank you for connecting note with a gift. And what I mean by that, and this is where your suggestion to me just blew my mind, Fanny, because I've always suggested that you send a thank you for connecting message. We're looking forward to learning more about you. Hey, below is a link to an article I recently read that is just really enlightening about whatever my topic I want to talk about. So if I'm prospecting, recruiters in Dallas, I could say, hey, here's the job market in Dallas. It's improving. That should really affect your recruitment business, just something that's going to find of interest. But after listening to your advice, Fanny, I almost think it would be better, instead of providing a link down here in the thank you note, maybe providing a PDF attachment of 4 or 5 pages. It's already pre-written.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think?
As long as it's relevant to your audience, right? As long as it's not self-serving, right? Yeah. It's one thing if as soon as they connect, then you're like sending them your resume or sending them some deck, like talking about your company. That's not going to work. Yeah. But if it's a link to an article that serves that person, or maybe 5 pieces of advice that you read that was really relevant to their expertise or their industry, then absolutely. Yeah.
I loved your idea. I think people are going to be more open to reading, opening up a PDF and reading it and scanning through it. Then now let me click to this, web. I loved your idea, by the way.
And play around with it, right? Like, see, it just all depends on the person, right?
Yeah,
you never know. So.
Gosh, I just love talking with you, Fanny. I learned something new about content every time.
I love exchanging ideas. Yes.
Now you'll notice something here. There is no CTA, right? Yeah. There's no call to action. I used to have the same call. I used to have a CTA at the very end of this. It was a 4-step process, and I found it was just a little bit too in your face, right? So if you click to the next slide, it just says, "Hey, hope you enjoyed the article," and then it's like I wait 3 to 5 days. And then I send this follow-up message. Hey, I'm just following up. See if you had a chance to read the article. It's really great connecting with you. I had a chance to look at your profile, and I learned a little bit more about you. I see you're this or that, and you've accomplished this or that. I think it makes sense for us to, have a conversation. So I'll give you a call in the next day or 2. Now, a lot of people get, kind of turned off by this. I think, is there another slide, another 4? Let me see. Go to the next slide. Oh, go back to the previous slide just for a second. So what some of my clients do, they're like, I don't want them to know. I want to ask for permission. Well, go ahead and do that. But I mean, I prefer just say, I'm going to call you, make it easy on them. And, but you might want to say, I think it makes sense for us to have a conversation. I've got some time next Tuesday or Wednesday. Please let me know what works best for you. So whatever you're comfortable with, at some point, you have to, you find them using Boolean operators, step 1. Step 2 is you send my personalized templated connection request. Step 3 is you send them a thank you for connecting note with a gift, right? Yeah. And then step 4 is, you send what I call a business building relationship message and with a call set up, right? Just whatever way you want to do that. And then lastly, show that last number 5, Fanny. And then this is you pick up the phone and call them, right? And you're like, well, how do you find them? How it's super simple. Probably about 40% of everyone on LinkedIn has their phone number, maybe 30%. It seems like it's not very high. But if you can't find them, many of the folks, they work at a company. So look the company up on Google or go to their LinkedIn company page, and from there go to their website and look at their contact info, and then get their number, pick up the phone and call them and ask for them by first and last name. Yeah. And the point is, when you call, you've got to remind them of why it's not a cold call, right? Yeah. You want to say, hey, Fanny, this is Terry Sullivan. Just want to thank you for connecting with me on LinkedIn. boy, did I love that LinkedIn Live event that you put together. I watched it in
Yeah,
entirety of Terry
yeah,
Sullivan and you the other day. I
yeah,
just thought I'd call to personally introduce myself. How you doing? You see?
perfect. Yes.
So then you start the
Personalization.
yeah. And I wouldn't sell anything until there's some rapport there, right? Because people don't want to be sold. Now, if you could
Yeah.
turn to the next one.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you're a business. Okay. So the other thing you want to do is you want to track your performance, right? So, keep an eye on things. So if you want to get more, if you want to track your likes and comments and shares and that kind of thing, you can do that. If you want to track the number of followers you have or the number of first level connects. But what I like to look at is the number of conversations I'm having with my prospects, right?
Yeah.
So track
Yeah.
your performance. And the other thing, if you could turn the page there to the next slide. And a lot of people don't know about this, Fanny, but this is really a cool thing. If you go at the very top, you can see linkedin.com/sales/SSI. So you log into LinkedIn, right? And
Mm.
just keep it logged in. And then, click on another tab and go to linkedin.com/sales/SSI. That stands for Social Selling Index.
Mm.
And your score, whether you're a job seeker or a business provider, right, should be to have a score between 70 and 79. It's somewhere in the 70s, right?
Okay.
That's good, because if you are in the 80s or the 90s, if you're a big salesperson, you're probably in the 90s, right? But you're doing
Mm.
all kinds of things to go out and find people and what have you. But if you're in the 70s, that's perfect. But if you get a chance, check out your score, what it is now versus
Yeah.
what it is after the advice, Fanny, that you and I are giving your audience, right? After they implement
Do
it.
it before and after.
Yeah, you'll do it before and
Post
after.
the results and tag us.
Yeah, I worked with a CEO the other day, and his SSI score was 37. I said, we got a lot of room for improvement there.
There
But
you
you can
go.
see it covers 4 areas, including content development, branding, who you're connecting with,
Yeah.
and just relationships, which I'm always really high on. So check out your SSI score and keep an eye
Okay.
on it and see if it goes up or down. Like when I give a lot of presentations, it goes down. It goes up and down pretty quickly. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we have a few questions, Terry. Should we take some questions?
Sure.
So from Chick Lehan.
My friend Chick. How you doing,
There
Chick?
you go. What is the best way, the methodology to post articles, documents on your LinkedIn profile page?
Ooh, Fanny,
Mhm.
your turn.
Okay. You know what? I'll share my screen. Give me 1 second
Yeah,
here.
man.
I will pull up my LinkedIn profile.
Chick's a good guy, Fanny.
Oh, Chick, are we connected? I hope we're connected. Okay, so if I go to my profile, can you see my profile?
Yep, I see it. Yep, I see your. Yes, I do. Yeah, beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, I don't know if you know about this feature, is this featured section. And this is where you can have evergreen content in your feed. And this is where, because I'm all about video, I've loaded clips of my different presentations, just short little clips of my different presentations into YouTube. And you can tie those clips and post a YouTube URL into your featured section.
Wow.
And then that way, this is like a visual, again, going back to learning style, this is a visual way that people can get to understand the types of things that I help people with, how to create content, the best types of content. A lot of times people ask me, they have a fear of being on video. So then top 3 tips for overcoming fear of video and so forth. So all you have to do is add here. Are you able to see these drop downs, Terry?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so you can add a post, something you did on LinkedIn. You can add a written article. You could use a URL. In this case, it was a URL to YouTube, or different photos, documents, and presentations, and just add them in and upload the files. And then that way, when someone is checking you out, right, and they scroll down, it's almost like a little mini commercial area to feature your different sides of you, right? But again, make sure it's not about selling. It's about sharing with people your advice and tips, and you're offering something to people so that they can learn from you and see what you have to offer. But that's a great way to answer Chick's question of featuring different content and pieces of your expertise.
Wow, that's really, really cool. Now, are those videos, are those presentations that you've given and you take like a certain segment of it, or are they?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
Terry, I don't know if you realize this, but this here, this
Yes.
one, so if I click on it, it will go to YouTube. But this is the one that I did. You allowed me to have like a short
Oh,
segment when you were at that
oh,
church.
oh, the
Uh,
Gateway Church. I
Gateway
remember
Church.
that.
Yes. So this was
Oh,
with you.
oh my goodness. I love this concept. I
Yeah.
just love it. And look how you have the title, and
Yes.
I just think it's
You have to make
phenomenal.
sure, I mean, that's a YouTube thumbnail. I mean, that's a whole other strategy. But
Wow.
yeah, when you do it, try to do a thumbnail in your YouTube, and then that way, like, people know exactly what that speech is about or that little clip is about.
Yeah.
And then in your case, you could have like how to build a powerful LinkedIn profile, right?
Yeah.
And then it's
Yeah.
you walking in front of a crowd, which you
I
always
love
do.
that. I just and that
Oh,
thumbnail.
yeah, Terry, we'll talk after.
Yeah, I love that. Now the thumbnail you create, it's a still, and you put
Yes.
that in there instead of
And then you
showing you,
overlay
at
the
the
type.
first slide, the very beginning of your video, right? So it's actually
Absolutely.
a still of
Yeah.
where you can title it and what have. I love that, Fanny. That's
And
really, really
then we
cool.
have another question real quick. Cameron Toth. Oh, Cameron's all the way from New York. Shout out to Cameron.
Hey,
He
man.
says, what is the best way to engage and set up face-to-face with people you've been connected to on LinkedIn, but you haven't really engaged lately or ever?
Okay.
So I guess you're connected, but now you want to get to face-to-face, but you haven't been doing much engagement or dialogue.
Yeah. And that's the very reason you want to, as Fanny said, post on a regular basis, because you see, I'm connected with several thousand people and I don't keep in touch with most of them, but I call them up all the time for different reasons. But when I call them, because I've been putting content in my news feed, and I keep front of mind with them. And that's honestly what you should do with your prospects as well. Give to your community, and so you're always front of mind. So they may not be ready to buy from you today, but when they are, they're gonna give you a call. But in how I engage with them is, first of all, I use Boolean operators. If I want to find a certain segment, I use Boolean operators to find people I'm connected with in a certain segment on a first level basis. And then I just send them a pretty casual, note, and I do it all the time. Hey, how have you been doing? I make it all about them first. It's been a while
Yes.
since we connected, and then I basically said, I think I'd love to talk with you. And you'll even see that in my posts. If you go to Fanny's, LinkedIn Live, you'll see that people like Chick and others, they've reached out to me and I haven't talked to them in a while. And I'll just say, hey, man, it's been a while. I'd love to catch up with you, and so,
Especially in the comments section, right? Of
yeah,
your post. A
yeah,
lot can be done just in the comments of your post.
yeah. So I'm already planting the seeds with people who I haven't seen in a while with my comments in my posts, or in Fanny's post in this case. Just so I'm kind of letting them know, hey, I'm ready to start having a conversation here. So I try to
Yes.
warm things up either by posting and maybe including them in a post. Like a lot of times, as you guys know, you can use the @ sign in a LinkedIn post, and you can call that person up, and it'll link
Tag them.
that comment
Yes.
to their news feed. And I'll do that. Like if I haven't seen Chick, I'll say @Chick Lehan with no spaces, and he'll pop up and maybe in a comment, hey, Chick, I thought you might find this event, LinkedIn Live event with Fanny, really interesting.
Yeah.
And so then I'm giving so before I'm even calling him, I'm giving him something, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
the whole thing is just
Absolutely.
warm things up with,
Give. Yeah.
just I can't stress that enough. Is
Yeah.
be the always. I learned that from John Fletcher, who's amazing. I think he's a genius, Fanny, but he's I don't know. Do you know John?
I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a marketing and PR guy, and he's got a photographic memory. But he's always, Terry, be the first to give, and
Yeah.
that's what I learned.
I mean, I learned a great ratio from Craig Fisher, who's in the talent and recruiting industry, and he says do the 5-to-1 give to ask ratio.
I
So
love
give
that.
5 times and then ask. Yeah,
I love that.
me too.
5-to-1. I'm writing
Five to
that
one,
down, Fanny.
give to
5-to-1.
ask.
Fanny's 5-to-1. I need to talk to Fanny about that one.
So yeah, there's the social selling index. See, look, people already gone and did it. Cameron's is 75.
Whoa,
Sarah is 74.
they're in the 70s. They're doing great.
77. Mike Rochelle's 75. All right,
Oh my
Volta.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I saw.
Well, let me
Oh,
tell you guys. You guys
Volta
are. I work.
65.
That's amazing. I will tell you that I work with a lot of executives, that are running companies, and their SSI scores are usually in the 30s or 40s. So you guys should be very proud. You're doing very, very well with LinkedIn. I'm very, very happy for you.
Actually, I just want to give a quick shout out to Volta. So Volta does watercolor graphics. And so she did, I don't know if you saw the background of my LinkedIn.
Oh my gosh, is she doing your work? Because I reached out, she connected with me today.
Oh, yes.
And she said she was a gift artist. A gift,
gift.
I told her, I said in a post, I said, well, I've never met a gift artist before.
Amazing. She did my gifts, and she also did my watercolor backgrounds.
Oh.
So anybody looking for some artsy spin or gifts to their brand, she can do an animation of your logo. Hit up Volta, please.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I went to Volta's website this morning. It is stunning,
isn't it?
I mean,
yes,
it's not beautiful. It's stunning. I mean, Volta, you've got.
And follow her on Instagram. I go and just her Instagram feed just cheers me up. So yeah, and
she's got a real good feel for it. Like, did she do your banner image for your LinkedIn profile?
No. The very first image right before my LinkedIn Live with the orange watercolor.
Oh, beautiful. I was wondering. I was, when I saw that, I thought, how did she do that? So Volta's your secret weapon. Yeah, geez, Volta, I'm going to talk to you.
Like, we just do what we do, and we specialize in what we're gifted at, and then we hire for everything else.
I know.
That's what I've realized in life. We double down on our strengths, and then find other people that are great at what they do, and then hire them, and they help us. That makes the world go around.
Well, that's exactly right. I made the mistake when I first started my business to try to do it all. I'm like, I don't want to be an HTML website programmer, I hired someone to create my website. So
and then so let's finish up a few things before we get to the questions.
Okay.
We have lots of questions, and I know you're super patient with folks, and we'll get to all of those, but let's just finish off the slides here.
Okay.
Let me know when you can see it. Okay.
Yep, I can see it. Yep. And we already talked about this, but these are the premium versions, and I love the business version. Sales Navigator, if you're on the, if you're a business development leader and you're B2B, you have to have it.
Okay. Awesome. So there you go. For more details, ask Terry about all those different plans. Was that the last slide?
I think so. Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Okay. So now let's get to folks' questions, because I know we have a lot of, we have like a super engaged audience, Terry.
Oh, great.
You have to promise me you'll come back.
Oh, I would love it. I wish.
Every quarter.
Oh, I really, really, really like your audience. They've been really fun.
So we have a question from Steve. He says, how much weight would you put on the recommendations portion of your profile by recruiters or TA specialists? Any tips on how to best manage them?
The recommendations, if you could let me, if you could let me share my screen, that would be great. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So great question, because I talked a lot about endorsements, and endorsements just, skills just help you be found. They don't really, but here's the thing. You want to increase the social proof of your brand, right? And the social proof is when other people say what a great, professional you are at what you do, right?
Yeah.
So that's why if you have a website, you want testimonials, on certain pages. That's why you want, to have a sizable, numbers, a number of the right endorsements and a number of skills and the right number of endorsements that are associated with those skills. But here's my recommendation here, right? So you want to have at least 2 recommendations that are in 2020. Like here, let me just show you some. Yeah, this is my client here. This is Larry Levine, the founder of Chili's, and I love Larry. Great guy. This is the first Chili's restaurant.
Oh, wow. Look at that history.
Yeah, 1976.
The logo at the right is like a little, nostalgic.
Look at his first logo. Yeah, it's crazy. But at any rate, so his previous, he had 1 recommendation, and I think it was from 2008 or something. So let's see if he even has any. But the point is, you want to have at least 2 recommendations that are 2020, right? And I will tell you this, how do you manage that? I learned this a long time ago. If you have a CEO or a really big influencer that you want them to recommend you, if you can, write the recommendation for them. The reason for that is I had a CEO up in Bloomington, Illinois. I'd helped him make a lot of money with my marketing efforts. And I said, hey, would you recommend me? Bruce Griffin was his name at Afni Communications. And Bruce said, sure. And he recommended me. And his recommendation, Fanny, went like this: Terry's a great guy. And I'm like, wow, you got me excited. So, and then I also helped a person get elected as a mayor of a city, and that person sent me a recommendation, and he or she had 12 typos in the recommendation. So I never could get that person to change it. So I didn't use it. So the point is, if you can write good, if you're a good writer, write your recommendations, or at the bare minimum, help people help you, and give them the top 3 or 2 or 3 things you want to be known for. Absolutely. But I would have a minimum of 5 recommendations, but 2 that are from 2020.
Got it. Okay. Hope that answers your question, Steve. And let's see, anything else here? Oh, Lindsay shared a cool website, capwing.com/tools convert video. And she says, that is how to convert a video to 1 still image. That must be in reference to that YouTube thing that I was talking about. So thank you, Lindsay. Thank you for sharing that.
Hi, Lindsay. I haven't seen her in a long time. I see her post on LinkedIn.
How to convert a video to 1 still image. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And then, this is just folks sharing tips, saying, Terry Sullivan, during this time, I found that just sending a DM as a wellness check has gotten great response. Yes, thank you, Jason. Great way to kind of reconnect with people. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. And then, look, see, folks are doing their social selling index. 77 for Lindsay.
Oh my gosh, Lindsay.
67 for Mindy.
Mindy.
And then Volta, thank you for our kind words. Definitely, you deserve it. And then you're just making an impact. Anita, thank you so much for the session. And they needed to drop, no worries. And then here's a question from Chuck. Based on your exec SSI statement just now, who is actually looking at this scoring? Do recruiters look at it, and how does it weigh in the job search process?
Oh, it's, you can't see the SSI score of other people that I know of, Chuck. And by the way, it's great looking forward to working with you later in the month, Chuck.
Yeah, you're going to be at Business Technology Networking Group at the end of the month.
I love that group. Yeah, I loved it last year and the year before. Thank you for the invite. But the only person that can really see your SSI score is yourself. And I used to really think it was a LinkedIn sales play. Everyone's fighting to see if you can get the highest SSI score. But especially in sales organizations, I see it all the time. Hey, mine's 92, haha. But I really think that no one else can see it but you. You have to be logged into LinkedIn and to get your score. But I just think it's kind of a barometer for you. How are you doing with your brand, with posting, with creating solid it just helps me give it kind of a live performance review for myself. And like every once in a while,
for ourselves.
like once I I went out to
It's our
LA.
report card, our
Yeah,
LinkedIn
yeah,
report card.
yeah. I went out to a client before COVID, and I went out to LA and was with the client for like 7 days. And I was, excuse me, I was horrible with my social selling, and and I came back, and I think it was in the low 60s or something. I went, uh-oh, and it just told me I need to get back with it and get my 15 to
Mhm.
30 minutes a day routine, get back into a routine.
Yeah.
So
So it's a great way to kind of measure our
yeah,
performance, make sure we're keeping on top of things.
yeah.
And look at that, Terry. Sanchit says, how do I get myself an internship with Terry?
Oh my gosh, you made my day. Oh my gosh, I
We
could,
have an intern.
oh my goodness. Well, thank you for that compliment. Thank you
Yes.
so much. I sometimes, we're both entrepreneurs, Fanny,
Yeah.
and sometimes I mean, I know I could keep a dozen people busy, but I'll tell you what, call me. Let's talk.
There you go, Sanchit. There you go. So, I mean, as we kind of close things out, and we've kind of talked about this already, like at the end of the day, right, after you build your profile, you still also have to create content for it. Why do you think it's so important to create content for your personal brand? I mean, you had a statistic about how often people change jobs, right, these days. Like,
Yeah.
share that.
Well, yeah, here's the thing is that if you read a book called What Color's Your Parachute, they repub it every 2 years. And I've been reading that book. I buy it every 2 years since 2010. And when I first started reading that book, the average tenure at a job was over 3 years.
Mm,
And now it's just, I think last time I saw, I've got a copy on I should go look, but it's 18 months. So
yeah.
about a year and a half. So whether it's the company's reorganizing or you just not liking the environment or whatever, the culture, people aren't staying in jobs very long. So the point is that you want to get in the habit of using LinkedIn 15 to 30 minutes a day. Stay active with it. I mean, I can't tell you how many job seekers, CEOs and CFOs that I've worked with, and their network's dead. They have very few connections. Their profile's horrible, and I just try to and I kickstart them. I rebrand
Yeah.
them and I get them started with phone calls and social selling. But
Yep.
it would be a lot easier if you just kept up with it. I help both of my kids. Fanny, my son is a scientist at a DNA lab down in Austin where they're trying to come up with a cure for brain cancer. And my daughter is a speech pathologist in Austin.
Mm.
Moved them in together. It'll be interesting to see if that was a mistake. But I help them both get jobs, and they don't stay in jobs very long.
Yeah.
A year and a half, because they just get tired of it. So, but my kids get LinkedIn, but unfortunately, a lot of millennials don't. And
Yeah.
so, whether you're a millennial or you're a seasoned professional, get in the habit of using LinkedIn 15 to 30 minutes a day. Stay active, and take Fanny's posting advice. Start giving to your community, and don't stop, because it'll just lead to great things. Whether it's new clients if you're looking for business, or a new job if you're in the job market. So,
Well, Terry,
okay.
thank you. I mean, and I
Thank you.
always like to kind of wrap things up with, these days we have so many challenges with COVID, and there's so many people out there that lost their jobs or going through a tough time. And I always like to kind of wrap up things with gratitude. And
Very good.
what are you grateful for right now, Terry?
Well, let me tell you something that's kind of funny grateful. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, about 6 months ago, my daughter decided right before COVID that we needed a new puppy.
Uh-huh.
And so we got a puppy, and that puppy has been driving me crazy. Yeah, I love him. His name is Freddie, after Freddie Mercury. And so my wife and I've got a client out in New Mexico next week, and so we're going to turn it into a little mini vacation. But what I'm grateful for is I drove to Waco, Texas last night with my wife and gave my puppy to my two kids. And now they're going to take care of my puppy for the next week and a half.
Oh,
So I get a little break from Freddie Mercury, and I get to go out to New Mexico. That's my gratitude. I'm very grateful for the
there
business
you
and the
go.
relief from my four-legged little baby.
Oh, I love it. Love it. Oh, well, so everyone out there, I'm also going to announce some upcoming events, but in the meantime, please connect with Terry Sullivan. Visit him at buzzpro.com. He presents all over the city, and in this case, all over virtually. So I think you have a calendar on there, right, of when you present.
Buzzpro.com. Yep.
Yeah, buzzpro.com. He's all over LinkedIn. Find him on LinkedIn. And as you can tell, like, just great advice. So
thank you, Fanny.
You have to connect with him. I couldn't say enough good things about Terry Sullivan. So,
well, Fanny, and my feeling, I absolutely love working with you. I don't know if you saw a lot of the comments prior your event, but it's like, what a team. So let's
yeah. Okay, let's commit to doing this every quarter, Terry.
Well, I would absolutely love that, and anything I can do for you, I would love to work with you again. And it's really interesting. I'm a self-learner, but for some, when I'm around you, I learn. I've got a whole page of notes here from your comments. So thank you.
I need to go look at my social selling index now too.
Oh yeah, don't. Well, in the 70s is all you need. So.
Yeah, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the session, and yeah, look at that, Terry, Jihan. Thank you. Jason, great show.
Well, thank
Chuck
you,
says, taking care of a puppy is like taking care of a newborn.
It is. It's worse. It is.
Chick, so all these thank yous. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. So appreciate it. And I just want to remind all of you to continue to shine your light and share your gifts with the world and share your value with the world. And hopefully you'll do it through video. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you, Fanny.
So appreciate your time. Bye-bye now.
Bye, Fanny.